I went to Columbus School in Bridgeport to visit with a principal whose students were beating the odds. And while I was at the school waiting for the principal, I met one of those students, a kindergartner. The kindergartner was also waiting to see the principal and was nervously pacing back and forth across the reception area and kind of looking at me, spitting seeds into the garbage pail on one hand as he ate sunflower seeds out of his pocket. And at one point he stopped and he turned to me and he said, "What are you in for?" Well, that gave me pause. The answer is, I'm in for big change. Nothing else is good enough. This is not all we will know. We cannot lose another generation of kids to underperforming schools, prison, gun violence, to the effects of systemic racism. We can't afford to watch as the gap widens between those with means and those without. We can't afford to neglect Connecticut's persistent structural problems, its economic health, or take a pass on the reform that has to happen. This is not all we will know. We can't assume that current leadership pipelines are enough. When the problems are so entrenched, when we need more leaders like Letitia and like all of you, we can't assume it's enough to wait for leaders to arrive, that someday, miraculously, Connecticut will be full of effective social change leaders. This is not all we will know. We can't assume that one day we'll have the power to effect change. Even amazing leaders acting alone cannot create big change. If it is justice and not charity that we're after, it is not enough to rely on individual acts of courage or heroism. This is not all we will know. We can't assume that what's worked in the past will work in the future. We can't assume that if we just work harder, we'll get there. It's a new day. We need to adapt, and this cannot be all we will know. As leaders, we have to create the conditions for change, and that means taking a vision for our communities out and sharing it, a vision for our state, a vision for our nation, asking the right questions, taking a system change approach, and building on the good work that we've started. Working differently, though, investing in leaders and growing other leaders and growing talent, and partnering with each other to get things done. Learning to lead differently for different results. It's not a sure thing. It's a daily experiment. In order to address our shared challenges, we need to grow more 21st century leaders. We need leaders from all walks of life, leaders with diverse experience, with the skills, mindset, heart, knowledge, and grit to make progress in a new world. In this highly unpredictable world, we need a different kind of leader. Leaders who own the fact that we are working on complex problems for which there is no simple solution. We need leaders who work together to experiment, evaluate, play with new ideas and possibilities, dive into learning, and discover the path forward every step and with every lesson. While we may not be able to predict the future, we do know that leaders are learners. Leaders are made, not born. We learn to lead through doing. We learn through action. And so we know that we can decide to lead, to take action, and learn from it. This is in our control.